And yeah, let's get into the EU regulatory updates. So, Mac Rumors, which this article is from, is got their hands on a draft version of the new, how's it called again? Digital Markets Act, so the DMA, which we discussed last episode as well. And are a lot of extensions coming. Like, for example, Apple is basically forced to open up also their browser engine on their devices. So at the moment, when you install a alternate web browser like Firefox or Chrome or Brave, they're all using Apple's WebKit in the background. And because that's a requirement by Apple in regards to privacy and so on and so forth. But of course, that's not nice because the browsers are actually developed in a different way, and perhaps you're even unable to get feature parity and so on and so forth. And allowing browser manufacturers to use their own engines is also, in my opinion, the right way to go. And so it's good that this is coming. And yeah, the main thing, of course, of the DMA is in regards to the App Store policies, opening up the App Store, allowing side loading and so on, which, as I discussed in earlier episodes, I'm not a fan of. Not on a phone. On an iPad, yes. All for it, because it's a tablet. And if a tablet gets compromised, it's not as bad as a deal as if a phone gets compromised. And that's something that the regulators here are not thinking about. A phone is a different story. If your phone for some reason gets compromised in a critical situation and you cannot call emergency services, people may die because of a screw up like that. And those regulators, they are basically in the end then responsible for that happening. A phone is a different thing. We have to talk about scopes of use. Yeah. A phone is still primarily a phone and not a computer. And everyone who says no, think about it. Think about yourself being in a situation where one of your loved ones, for example, you're going skiing and your loved one falls, breaks a leg, or even something worse happens, which we don't hope. Yeah, of course, I don't wish anything bad happening to someone, but shit happens. And then you're realizing, oh shit, I got a Trojan on my phone that locked me out. And that's more likely to happen if you allow side loading on smartphones. And I have my issues with Apple's App Store policies and the whole process. But for me, it's still, especially for the phone, it's good that they are that strict. And that this vetting is happening. And I cannot imagine that smaller companies will perhaps launch their own stores, that they can do it on the same level as Apple does. Or perhaps they can, but probably most won't because it's expensive. because you have to have the automated checks, plus you have to have people who are checking those apps. And I know that because I also investigated stuff like that for my own reasons. And yeah, it's hard, and I understand why Apple is locking down the iPhone. And that's, in my opinion, because this is still primarily a phone, a communications device. Everything else are secondary additional functionalities, which are, yes, convenient, but they are not the core functionality of the device. And I am against everything that is making it more likely that this core functionality might break in a critical situation. Yeah? So that's my take on this whole situation. So overall, these moves here are good, but there has to be put more thought into these regulations, because it is important that core functionality of a device in its intended scope of use is not compromised by opening it up. And this discussion, as far as I can see, is not happening. And this will cause issues for all of us down the road. On the other note, the sister act, the Digital Services Act, basically got its final form this week and is now handed to the European Commission and the European Parliament for ratification. And this regulates a lot of stuff, especially tracking, advertisement. So a lot of positive things in regards to privacy. This article here is from Engadget, and you will probably find articles about this all over the web because it's a major news. And so this will also be something that Facebook will not like. We will see where this gets us. And overall, more privacy, more protection is good. But what they did not put in this act, which is important to note, is they basically left out basic rights again from this act, like free speech and also limiting tracking from governments and so on and so forth. So this is not like a I'm missing the word. So this is not like a new law of the internet, which gives you all the rights that you would have as a freestanding person. And so this is sad that this is not going to this step, but also not surprising when you look at the world right now. So we will have to see how this is going to play out, but probably the ratification of this bill is now just a formality, and it will be coming. And we have similar laws already in Germany. A lot of this law is based on the equivalent German law, and so nothing new or not much new probably for us in Germany.